Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas. And today we are jumping into the world of Tony Robbins. We're going to look at how a really tough childhood shaped his entire life's mission. And, maybe more importantly for us, what he says we all need to do to handle the massive changes coming with AI.
Okay, so what makes someone like Tony Robbins tick? I mean, really, it all comes back to this one powerful idea. For him, this isn't just a career. He genuinely sees his life's work, his mission, as ending suffering. And that mission, well, it came directly from his own painful experiences.
And that entire mission kicked off because of one single event. A moment from when he was a kid that completely, totally changed the path of his life.
So to get the picture, you have to understand where he came from. His childhood, it was rough, a really tough environment. We're talking 4 different fathers, a mom who struggled with addiction, and often literally no money and no food in the house. This kind of constant stress and scarcity, well, it really set the stage for what happened next.
So imagine this. It's Thanksgiving Day, and his family has absolutely nothing to eat. And then there's a knock at the door. It's a total stranger, just standing there with bags of groceries, enough for a full Thanksgiving meal. This one act of kindness, out of nowhere, it became the moment that defined everything for him.
And this is where things get really fascinating. You have one event, but 2 totally different realities. His father, his focus was on shame. We don't take charity. To him, it was a story about his own failure. But Tony, he saw something completely different. His focus was on the kindness. Strangers care. It proved to him that there was goodness and possibility in the world. Same event, 2 completely different stories.
And this just nails a core idea he learned that day, right? How can you turn your worst day into your best day? That moment, which for his dad was this huge source of shame, became the very thing that inspired Tony's entire life's work. The most painful moments, they can actually become the fuel for our greatest growth.
Okay, so he has this life-changing experience. But how do you turn that into something practical? Something anyone can use? Well, that's exactly what he did. It became the foundation for a really powerful framework he created for taking control of your own life story. It all comes down to this idea of the story, the narrative you tell yourself over and over and over again. That's the invisible force that's really running your life. See, it's not the events themselves that control us. It's the meaning we give them.
And that story gets built moment by moment through 3 decisions we're always making, whether we realize it or not. Number 1, what are you going to focus on? Number 2, what does this mean? And number 3, okay, so what are you going to do about it?
And here's the kicker, the really powerful part. If you can take conscious control of those 3 decisions, you can literally change your story. And when you change your story, you change your whole life. You stop just reacting to things and you start creating the life you want. All right, so let's switch gears a bit. How does all this, focus, meaning, action, apply to what's happening right now? Well, Robbins uses this exact framework to look at what he thinks is the next great disruption, AI.
Let's just look at the numbers for a second. 8 million. That's how many jobs Robbins says are at risk in the US in just one sector, driving, all because of automation. And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
But here's his real point, and it's so important. The biggest threat isn't just people losing money. It's that jobs are not just money, right? For so many of us, jobs are meaning. They're our identity, our purpose. And when you take that away on a massive scale, you're not just looking at an economic crisis. You're looking at a crisis of meaning.
And let's be real, the logic of automation for businesses is just undeniable. I mean, think about it. A machine can work 24/7, insurance is cheaper, it doesn't make human errors, and you can write it off as a depreciable asset. The economic push for this is so strong, it feels pretty much inevitable.
And here's the scary part. He warns that this shift could be the next huge source of human suffering if we don't get ahead of it. Because unlike past revolutions that took generations to play out, this one is happening at lightning speed. There's just not a lot of time for us to adapt, and that's a recipe for some serious trouble.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? How do we get through this? Well, Robbins offers a pretty clear path, but it requires a huge shift in how we think. We have to stop just managing our circumstances and start creating our future. His whole point is this: we are not made to just manage circumstances. We're made to create. The key is to stop playing defense, just reacting to whatever life throws at you. It's time to go on offense, to be the designer of your own life.
So what does that look like in practice? He says there are 3 skills that are absolutely essential in an AI world. First,
pattern recognition. You've got to be able to see the cycles and structures that other people are missing. Second, pattern utilization. It's not enough to see them, you have to know how to use those patterns to get results. And finally, the highest level, pattern creation. This is where you innovate and create totally new things of value. Master these three, he says, and you become indispensable.
And he gives a great example of what pattern recognition looks like with his idea of the seasons of life. Think about it. Life has cycles, just like the year. There's a spring, from birth to about 21, when you're just growing like crazy. Then comes summer, a time of hard work and being tested. Then fall, when you get to reap the rewards of all that work. And finally winter, a time for wisdom and giving back. When you understand that pattern, a lot of the fear and uncertainty just melts away. You have context.
And that really brings us back to the core choice, doesn't it? Whether we're talking about a tough childhood or a future with AI, the message from Robbins is exactly the same. So the question for all of us, in this world that's coming, is simple. Will you just manage your circumstances, or will you create your life?